All right, evaluate this one today from Lynch.
Yeah.
This is a quote about Kyle Juszczyk. You tell me if this sounds like
you.
he's.
I thought about you the whole time. By the way, this whole thing.
You're
the
this a
first
quote
person
that
came to
says
mind.
Juice is staying, or is this a quote that says Juice is bailing? All right, here's the quote. 49er Web Zone, thank you. I picked this off your website.
Look at you giving credit. You're the man.
Bibliography. I show my work. I went to Saying Nations. Go Cats, get them Cats, go get them Cats. All right, Juice is a great player, and he's been really valuable to us. So he's part of us. We'll see. We're thinking of a lot of things right now. We're trying to make everything work, and some tighter constraints than we've had in the past. To me, I think that sounds like we love Juice and we're cutting Juice, and he's a cap casualty. And that's what I got
on your face right now.
That's what well, here's my thing. It's not personal. Juice has treated me very well.
Not personal.
Very well.
He's a great guy.
He's a great dude. He's been a total pro. I love talking to the guy. I really do. I'm not being a smartass, even though I have been known to be a smartass. But I'm not being a smartass here. I actually really like Juice. But once again, we're back in real land. Okay? You're awful running the ball on the goal line. You're awful running the ball in short yardage. The Niners have a Pro Bowl fullback and a center in Brendel who was a Pro Bowl alternate not that long ago, and Kyle Shanahan doesn't even try to run the ball inside the 5. He's like, screw that. Let's just pass it. We can't do that. So if you can't, Philly can do it, Baltimore can do it, Kansas City can do it, all these, Buffalo can do it, all these teams can do it. And so if you ever want to actually contend for a Super Bowl, you better figure out a way to run the ball inside the 5-yard line or forget about it. Thanks for coming. And as much as I like Juice, if you got a Pro Bowl fullback and you're one of 5 teams in the NFL that has a fullback, you got to run the ball in the low red zone effectively, and you got to run the ball in short yardage, and they don't. So I don't know. I mean, I haven't gone through the film with a fine-tooth comb, but between Brendel, Banks, Pooney, Juice, and whoever's the running back, those are the only people. It's not your fault. Yeah. Pretty sure it's not John Lund's fault. Pretty sure it's not Greg Papa's fault. Pretty sure it's not my fault, but it's one of their fault. And I don't know whose, but Juice, he's 34. He makes some good cash. There's some other guys in this draft that play other positions, like a defensive lineman that could play fullback, an offensive lineman that could play fullback. I got Garendo. I think I'm going to move in a different direction from Juice. If I'm the Niners.
I think that this is the year too. I know there's a lot of needs here, but I think this is the year that they find a tight end because it's so deep, this draft. You and I've talked about it numerous times. They're going to find a tight end in this draft. And I'd like him to find a move tight end. And he can do the same thing that Juice does because Juice is not an outstanding blocker. What he does best, they don't even use him for. He's a decent blocker, not great. He's more of a move tight end type. And he catches the ball really well, but they never throw him the football no matter how wide open he is. So what's the point? I was just looking at this deal where you were talking. They restructured it. It voids next year. It's a $2 million cap hit if he's gone. You can't afford it. What John Lynch said, what we started here with was John Lynch said, we got to get younger. We got to get, cheaper. We got to get, Juice is 34. And he doesn't need to work anymore. He went to Harvard. Plus, his wife makes all those pretty jackets that Taylor Swift likes. So they're fine. And I'm with you, man. I love Juice, but it's show. It's not show friends. It's show business. The Niners aren't Al Davis. They're the Niners. They're more Bill Walsh than they are Al Davis. Juice, he gone. Like that's just how it is. John Lynch said today they got to get younger. He's 34. John Lynch said they got to get more athletic. John Lynch said, if he's going to abide by those things, you already restructured Juice once. You basically told him last year was the year. And I like him too, but they don't use him enough. They gave him the ball one time and they had all those injuries at the 2-yard line, which is stupid ass to do, and he fumbled it. So what you say this all the time, and you and I have this conversation, and it's why I thought right when he talked about Kyle Juszczyk, I went, oh my God, I think if I go on with Kirk tonight, we're going to leave with this. And I could see that you'd have a giant smile on your face because he said without saying it, we love Juice, but he gone. Like we can't afford anymore. We can't give out thank you contracts anymore. I remember when the Giants, they gave Lincecum a thank you contract. They gave out thank you contracts to guys. Aubrey Huff got a thank you contract. Thanks for helping us win a World Series. He's done a lot of great things, and I love Juice. But he's got to go. I mean, the best thing he does right now is be George Kittle's friend. I mean, that's not a reason to spend, this
Well, and
money on a fullback.
Here's the other thing. Adjust, adapt. Look at the rest of the league. Who's the
Got to get a hammer.
Who's the all-pro fullback?
Oh, Ricard of the Ravens.
It was Ricard.
Yeah.
It was Ricard. He's a freaking offensive lineman.
Yeah, they got to get
yourself a hammer and start running the ball on the goal line.
And it's exactly what John said about getting cheaper, younger, and more athletic. If you get Kittle a backup, which you should do, they're going to extend Kittle this offseason. He proved what he was worth. He already had, but he was so good this season. He could have quit at any point. He never did. Had an amazing season in a 6-11 year. He showed what kind of a leader and player is. So he gets an extension. To back him up finally in this tight end deep draft, they're going to find one. But they're going to find one that can be Kittle, but also can be a move guy. So they're going to use a move tight end in the places that they would have used Juszczyk. And they're going to get this guy in like the 3rd or 4th round, and he's going to be half of what Juszczyk costs. Hey, Lynch, you just said that in the press conference. So some things you don't believe, like the minute he said at the end of the year press conference, we're not in the business of letting good players out the door. And I'm like, you're letting Debo go. Stop it. Like we knew. And he, the things he said about Juice, some things you're telling the truth. Sometimes you're not. It's lying season 24/7, 365 in professional sports nowadays. Juice has got to go. And he basically said that in the nicest possible way. But go ahead. You can be giddy about it. There's nothing wrong with that just because he's a nice guy. I thought of you first today and was like, Krug is going to love this. And you're going to want you want the guy who's the guard. You want the North Carolina guard that's 5'11", 285 to be the fullback. I know you. See that smile? I know that's what you want. You want Juice out, and you want the North Carolina 5'11", 285-pound guard to be the fullback. I know you.
It's like I love this guy, but every time I talk about him, I got to look him up because I always forget his freaking name.
He was like this hammer. He was at the Senior Bowl.
The one guy that I love the most.
He was like hammering guys.
Here it is. His name's Willie Lampkin.
Yeah, that's
Willie Lampkin.
He was like
Willie freaking Lampkin
at the Senior Bowl, but he's 5'11", 285. Like nobody's gonna draft this guy, but I mean he might be the next Patrick Ricard, right?
I love me some Willie Lampkin.
I think Juice is gone. That's a long way to get to the fact that I think
let's hit a few more of these Lynch things. Okay, one, he said he expects. He talked to Robert Saleh and some other of their, people who know special teams around the league who are, who somehow share information with John and Kyle, gave them a good recommendation on Brant Boyer. So that's what John said today. He also said he was asked about Trent Williams' status. He said Trent's playing, he's ready and motivated. We can parse through that and say, well, was he not motivated? But that's not who I am. Let's go on to the next one. CMC's, let's spend lots of time questioning the greatest offensive lineman in the sport's motivation. Come on, stop.
Dude, he looked at 6-11. He looked at the thing from 6-11 and went, I'm done. Like, hey, that's great. Kittle's playing and Warner's playing. I ain't playing. I'm almost 37.
Trent's too good. Trent's too good to play. Trent's like Steph.
Yeah,
Steph's too good to play in games that don't matter. Trent's too good to play in games that don't matter. If the games don't matter, Trent don't play.
That's fine.